Howdy, Pards. Mr. Holster here, just having a little coffee in the tack room this morning. This is what we're going to talk about this morning. The 5 handguns you need to master. Yeah, if you want to be a gun guy, a true gun guy, these are the 5 sidearms I think you need to pick up and learn how to use correctly and master. And if you do that, there isn't a sidearm out there ever made that you won't be able to shoot. And shoot well. And I'm going to put them in an order that I think would be the right way to do it, but you know, it's all debatable, everything in life is, but this is going to be the order I'm putting them in. Number 1, the Colt Single Action Army. 1873 Colt Single Action Army. A lot of variants of that out there. Uberti, Pieta, and I'm talking, yeah, the actual Colt Single Action Army, not a Ruger Vaquero or Ruger New Blackhawk. One of the old Blackhawks, an old 3-screw will work. You got to have one that works old school, doesn't have the crossbar safety in it, one that has to be carried with 5 rounds in the chamber and or in the cylinder and 1 chamber empty. Yeah, keep that hammer down on an empty chamber, and I think that teaches you some good fundamentals in handguns for revolvers, and that also cross over into the semi-automatic handguns. And that's why I say it's got to be a firing pin mounted on the hammer on this gun to really get a good understanding about how these guns work and a good handle on how to safely handle and shoot this firearm. Okay. Number 2, once you've mastered that, you transfer into the semi-automatic sidearms. Number 2 would be, my choice would be the 1911. Yeah, a single action. So you'll go from single action revolvers to single action semi-automatics with the 1911. And you'll master that, and that'll teach you how to shoot any Browning high power, 1911 obviously, and any of the new modern striker-fired firearms you'll be able to shoot without any problem at all once you've mastered the 1911. After that, I would say let's go to a double-action revolver. And here I'm talking about a Smith & Wesson N-frame or K-frame. Yeah, the larger ones is where what I'd look for to get my hands on and learn to shoot that well and master that. Ruger Security 6 or GP100. Or Red Hawk, they'll do fine also. Get your hands on one of those and learn how to shoot it without using the hammer, because you already know how to do that with your Colt Single Action Army. Here you want to concentrate on being able to shoot that gun effectively and operate that gun by using that trigger, that long, hard trigger pull, because once you master that long, hard trigger pull and you can shoot it accurately, you're going to be set up for any sidearm, no matter what the trigger's like. Yeah. And once you've mastered that, then you go on to the semi-automatic. And here's a debate. I call them double action, single actions, but a lot of the manufacturers call them single action, double action semi-automatics. Whichever it may be, I call them double action, single action, because the first trigger pull is double action, like that double action revolver was. And then every shot after that, the hammer stays back when the slide comes back, and it's a single action. If you master this gun, it's going to set you up for all sorts of guns. This one, I'm picking the SIG P226 because I think that's the cream of the crop of these type of semi-automatic handguns. And once you've mastered that, of course, you can shoot a Beretta 92, a CZ 75. Pretty much sets you up for any semi-automatic handgun that operates in that fashion. Then last, number 5, if you want to be able to master all the sidearms out there, the last pick is a Smith & Wesson Snubby J-frame. Yeah, the little 642. If you can learn how to shoot that accurately and well, then I say at that point, you can handle them all. And really, I say the Smith & Wesson J-frame kind of gets a bad rap. They call it an expert's gun, and I really don't think it is. Back in the day, they used to sell those with 4-inch barrels on them and good-sized grips all the time. And, you know, really is just basically a revolver, just a little bit smaller. And when you put good sized grips on it and you got some sight radius there, it's not any harder to shoot than any other double action revolver. It's just when you get them down into a little snubby below 2-inch barrel and those little tiny grips on there, so they're really small, that it gets to be a bit of a challenge. But once you've mastered that, all these guns, I say you can pick up any sidearm and shoot it. Well, there you go, guys. There's my Coffee in the Tack Room this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Before I leave you, I want to thank you for subscribing, and just say, Jack's not here right now. He's gone out and done a little shopping, this time of year. From Mr. Holster and Jack, go out and stay safe.